going on, guys? Mitch. Anyways, what's going on, guys? I've taken over Sam's channel for this video. So it's gonna be like a little bonus video. And what we've got here behind me is actually my ute. And what are we gonna do to it? So the shittest thing about this car is the torsion bar suspension. So in today's video, it's gone. Cutting it all out. We're gonna solid axle swap this thing, fully road legal, with a kit from Ironhide Customs and suspension from Superior Engineering. Let's get right into it. So what is a SAS kit? Essentially, SASing is solid axle swapping your IFS vehicle. Now, what are the pros and cons to solid axle swapping your car? Some of the pros, you get way more off-road ability. You can do more lift, you're not restricted to lift. That's pretty much it. There's not many pros. Cons, drives worse, more defectable. You put bigger tires on, more defectable. But it can flex and it's cool. So we're gonna do that. Now, why am I doing it to this car? A lot of people are bagging me saying, why would you polish a turd, this, that, Sam. Anyways, there's not many things I don't like about this car. So I love the motor, it's a 4JJ1. We all know they're famous for being a great motor. I like factory space cab. If I were to get a patrol, you're only really given a wagon or your single cab, and I want a factory space cab. Don't mind the interior. It's not crazy outdated. It can be easily facelifted. And I just like the ute. I actually think they look pretty sick. Put a cool bull bar on them, SAS the things, and they're a great ute. So that's why I'm sassing my ute, and I'm gonna be using the Ironhide kit, purely because it's pre-approved engineered. So you weld it in, you go to your engineer, you say, hey, this is what I've got, this is what the kit. It's already been through all the testing for structural and stuff like that. So it's super easy to get it engineered and fully road legal in Queensland. So let's waste no time and get stuck into it. It's a big few days. So I'm gonna start by ripping off guards, bull bar, whole front end out, and then we'll get straight into welding everything in. Day 2. Last night, I didn't really get much progress. I only really half pulled the front end apart because I finished work at 4, started this at 6. But today, we've got a full day on it, so that's really good. Fresh work shirt. How nice and clean, look at it. So today's gonna be, I really wanna get the whole front end out, get it all cut out, rear cross member all cut out, and I'd like to just start sussing the kit out, you know, get my feel for it. So let's get this fucking front end out. The whole front end is out. Now it's time to clean up this mess because I've made a fucking mess. So it's time to clean all this up and then get to cutting off all your mounts and then cut off your gearbox mount and shit like that. Rightio, bit of an update. It's literally been all fucking day cutting off all these brackets on the inside and the outside of the chassis. This shit took so much longer than I expected. But now it's time to kind of grind all that down and blend it all off and make it look pretty. Then we can start welding on our chassis braces.
The next day.
It's day 3 of the SAS, like 2.5 basically. We cleaned up the chassis yesterday, now we're moving on to chassis bracing. So in the kit they supply like a 6mm plate with chassis bracing. You just got to bend it a little bit to make it fit. Then you just want to clamp it on, tack it on completely, then weld it out over the course of a few hours. That way we're not putting too much heat into the chassis and risking warping the chassis. So that's the chassis brace there. It's kind of not perfect, it's really sad at the moment. I'm just going to tack it, straighten it up a little bit, and then she'll be mint. Rightio, while I'm welding out the front, I'm going to start cutting out the transmission cross member, and that's to weld in the new cross member with the radius arm mounts. I forgot to film the part of where we actually cut everything out. Oh well. We've got the gearbox cross member up here, and at the moment we're just making sure all these mounts are straight and mint, and then we're gonna weld them in. That's for the gearbox and radius arm mounts. Then the next job will be put the radius arms on, find out where our coilover towers have to fit, and then weld them in. That's about all we're up to. Time for some B-roll. That's today's progress. We got the gearbox cross member in and the chassis brace is starting to get tacked up. Big shout out to the boys, Darcy Selleck and Big Mac for helping me film, and Darcy for helping me doing all the cutting and shit. So I'll see you guys tomorrow when I roll the diff under and sort out my coilover mounts. Okay, so that whole last clip I had the mic turned off. My life. All right, so I suppose I should give you guys an update. I've been full attack for a couple days and I haven't really filmed much. Whoa, the car's done. No, not at all, not even close. What you guys last saw was us putting the gearbox cross member in. All I did was throw the radius arms on, roll my diff under, check for clearance and stuff. That's where it all went wrong. Last couple days, had to take out the gearbox cross member, push it further back, cut off my coilover mounts off my diff that I originally put there, push them further back, and then now, what I've done is thrown the coilover towers in. I've only tacked them in, they're not there permanently. I'm just sassing stuff out. I'm about to bolt my coilovers up, cycle suspension, and see where we're sitting. Then I got to sort out my panhard. Then I also have to sort out my steering arm. I've put my steering box in. It's just hanging out in there to check for clearances with my coilover tower and steering arm. Anyways, now I will show you guys the cycling suspension process, putting in the coilovers and seeing how they go. Time to put coilover in and see how it's sitting. This is the moment of truth for me. Hopefully that's ride height. That would be cool. Anyway, my coilover's stuck down here. We need to be careful because I haven't got the right track rod in. It's actually out of a GQ, so it sits way higher, and I haven't done my engine and trans lift. So my track rod will smash the sump. So I've got to be careful when we're finding bump and stuff like that, because bump realistically is going to be like 2 inches lower. But how far? Okay, we're basically touching the sump already. Not good. Anyways, let's go a bit lower till we do touch the sump, because it's going to be realistically 2 inches lower anyway. If we look down here, we've still got a bit of gap between chassis. No, there's no gap between sump and track rod. That's smashing it now. Shock still has a bit, which I worked out wherever I put the bump stop is pretty much is perfect for coilover will bottom out when bump stop bottoms out. Well, like coilover won't completely bottom out, but it'll be close. Anyways, I'm gonna run hydros in there somewhere eventually. Anyway, so it doesn't really matter. All right, now you guys kind of have an update where I am at. I'm gonna weld in everything. So I need to weld in my panhard mount, weld in the cross brace for the chassis, then weld in bump stops. I'm probably just gonna put like a little spacer block in there for now until my engine transit comes. It's gonna be a couple of weeks, which is really annoying, but oh well. But I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. This afternoon, hopefully, we're gonna get it sitting on its own weight. Right, so I'm at a bit of a standstill at the moment. I'm welding out at the moment, so I've got to let it cool, can't let it get too hot. So I'm going to show you guys how to build a coilover, benefits of coilovers over coil and shock, etc, etc. First, I need to go find the coilover. Aha, I found my coilover. Now, difference between coil and shock. So with coilover, you get to customize your spring rates a lot more. So you can actually get way better ride quality out of them. They're a lot more adjustable. You can change ride height in the car without changing like coil heights. You can just add preload, just like a regular coilover in an IFS vehicle. Anyways, why did I go coilover? Well, I thought, yeah, that'd be sick. That's the only reason I did it. So we're gonna get into how to build coilovers right now. So what we've got in the coilover itself, obviously it just looks like a regular shock at the moment, and it kind of is until you add your coils and you have the thread and stuff like that. So this top collar adjusts your preload, which can increase height, but also make your coil stiffer. We've got our remote reservoir. I've just taped it up, that way it doesn't get scratched, because I don't want to scratch my nice sticker. So what we got to first do is extend the coil over, which is quite easier said than done. Coilover up on the bench. Now we want to pull out our lighter weight coil, because we're upside down, that's why it's confusing me. So I have a 200-pound coil for the top. Anyways, they look super deceiving. They look like motorbike coils. It's quite scary actually. So we're going to flip it that way, make sure the writing's the right way up. Drop it on. Drop that on as well. Then we find our heavier weight coil. Ooh, a different sticker. And we're going to get the writing the right way up on this one too. And we're going to slot her on. Done. Nah, you wish. Anyways, then we're going to get this packet over here, cut it open. Now we've got our top collar and our locking ring. Now it terrifies me that the only thing between this coilover exploding everywhere is this ring. Super important, don't fuck it up. So you slide your top collar on after we've taken off the masking tape so it doesn't look like shit. And we can press down. Now this is the kind of difficult part, so I might have to do it on the ground. I'll see if I can. Try again. Back in. Hey! And would you look at that? That's a fully assembled coilover. Now, I went for 250-200, which I might highly regret later, because that's what Hilux boys use when they have a bar, winch, side step, scrubbies a lot, and I've only got an alloy bar, so it might sit super high for now. We'll see how we go. But I'm gonna continue to weld out the rest, and then we'll throw these bad boys in and see where it sits. Probably gonna be tomorrow, because it's already 5.
3 days later.
Yesterday, we finished painting off everything. Didn't really record much of that because it's not that exciting, just painting. I'll show you what else I did yesterday off camera because it's not really interesting. We whipped up a quick leaf over rear conversion. So you literally just put your leaf spring on top of your diff, like that. Change shock mounts on the bottom. Got these Superior shocks that I've had forever. I actually got these years and years ago for this car, and now they're in use. Now I've come up the front, I've just bolted the diff up. I haven't really done anything with it yet. So I've just rolled the diff under to like start working clearances and shit out. I did sit it on its own weight yesterday with the coilovers and found out that my coil rates were wrong. So I've got to go down and get a new set of coils for it. Tomorrow afternoon they should be in, hopefully. We're going to go to 250 300s and then see how we go from there, because my 200 250s were at full preload, full adjustment, and they were only not even close to where I wanted it sitting. So now I'm just going to start running brake lines and putting all my Superior arms in, put my steering dampener up and just kind of finish it off. And then we've also got to go get some power steering lines made up for my power steering box. So I'll show you guys that process as well. So what I'm doing here is just tweaking my suspension, getting it right. I'm adding preload to the top spring for height, and then making sure that separator ring isn't touching. So you don't want more than 1.5 inches of preload. So we're gonna go for about 30 mil, because realistically, you want this top spring doing all the work. So you don't want that middle spring having any weight on it. We're gonna go to 310 is gonna be top of tire, bottom of guard, ideally. Make sure it's same on both sides because you might have to add preload. We'll take away preload. I'm gonna spin this ring up They say you want it about 2 inches above ride height, but I want it about, because of my issue with my bump at the moment and my engine and translift not being here, I want this bottom coil to take over quickly so we don't hit bumps super quick. Rightio, it's got Sam's tick of approval, but I just got back from NZ grabbing power steering lines, $460. Anyways, threw the steering box in if you come over here. So I've thrown the steering box in, hooked up the power steering lines, don't judge that, I'm gonna clean that up. Now we've hooked up my steering arm from Superior and the dampener mount. Now it's time to slap it all together, tie up all the loose ends, bleed the brakes, put in power steering fluid, which I didn't go buy, so hopefully I can find some. And then we'll be good to test drive and see how it goes. Rightio, so I've tied up the loose ends, just taking it for a bit of a stretch, testing everything, can confirm it does flex. Rightio, so Sammy said to finish off my video, I've got to go for a bit of a wheel. I decided to take that very literally, and we've gone on a trip. I got a few boys with me. I've got Chris back there in his NP300 Navara, Darcy Selig back there in his LS Turbo Patrol. You will meet the boys shortly, but lads, we're about 4 minutes out from the Woodgate pub. Who's f***ing keen?
Does that mean you're on first shout?
Maybe actually. So it looks like the boys are keen. Let's get to the pub and get started on this trip.
Meanwhile,
Chris,
You can't even put it in.
616.
I
don't care. It's your fucking feature. Oh.
Rightio, so we're at the entrance to the track. Let's get into it. Now we're off the beaten track. Decided to air down because it's about to get pretty soft. So we'll just throw down probably to 20 and we'll hit the beat. We've torn my handbrake out. What? It's gone! The whole handbrake? Where's my handbrake? So we've hit our first problem with the track. Since doing my engine and translift, it's also lifted the cross member, putting in the new cross member, and now my tail shaft is here, and my handbrake cable's here, and it's just going, which isn't ideal. So
it's your uni, it's not your tail shaft, it's your uni.
Shit, it's a party tail shaft. We're under here, Chrissy, also mechanic. That's problem up there. And that's not a good problem. Chris is zip tying my handbrake cable elsewhere because not good. We've chosen the 6th spot at Beach, so I'm going to go get set up now. He's trying to find level, he's trying to relieve himself. Well, let's find Cam, get set up, get into it.
the next day.
So we just packed up Cam and we're on our way out of Kinkuta now. We're gonna go another way out because we went in from the Woodgate pub side, and we're gonna go out the way of Coona the town. There's a lot of ways into Woodgate, or Kincoona Beach. Not a lot of people know about it. So we're just gonna go the Coona way. There's a bit of a water crossing up top, and yeah, we'll just. Oh, fuck, that's deep.
That's what you get for coming and trying to do me. I seen you coming. Can't let that fucking slide.
Righto guys, that was the video. You've seen me build it and you've seen me use it. If you liked what you saw, make sure to leave a comment and drop a like. Tell Sam that this is better than his patrol. And I'll see you guys in the next one.